The galaxy had grown complacent. Advanced civilizations, spanning hundreds of star systems, assumed they knew everything about war. They built fleets of enormous warships, fleets of hundreds, armed with weapons capable of destroying worlds in seconds. They had studied each other for millennia, predicting moves, strategies, even the psychology of every known species. And then humanity appeared. They came quietly. Not with fanfare, not with diplomacy, but with a ship so unassuming it could have been mistaken for a freighter. Its hull was plain, angular, almost awkwardly human, lacking the sleek curves and shimmering energy fields of alien vessels. But inside, it was a fortress of advanced engineering, AI-driven tactical systems, and weaponry no alien had yet imagined. Admiral Kalen Voss, a veteran of the Terran Star Command, watched the star charts from the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn. Every display flickered with the positions of alien fleets, their thousands of ships spread across multiple sectors. And yet, Kalen's mind was calm. Humanity had prepared for this moment for centuries. Every misstep, every disadvantage had been anticipated. Admiral, Lieutenant Shira Malik spoke softly, almost hesitant. Sensors are picking up the Clyran fleets. They are enormous. Kalen turned slowly, eyes calm, voice steady. Let them come. They think we are weak, that we are naive. And that is exactly why they will fail. Shira swallowed hard, her hands tightening around the console. She had read the historical records. The Clyran had crushed entire coalitions without losing a single ship. To underestimate them was to die. Yet here she was, staring at the incoming fleet, and Kalen's confidence was unshakable. In the command center of the Clyran flagship, Supreme General Thranos frowned. He had studied human behavior through intercepted transmissions. Reports said they were slow, fragile, and predictable. Their fleets were tiny, scattered, technologically primitive. Yet something about the Sovereign Dawn made him uneasy. "Deploy the scouts," Thranos commanded. "I want to know everything about that ship. Nothing escapes us." Hours passed. Alien probes scanned, beam after beam, but the humans did not react. The silence was deafening. Alien captains whispered among themselves. Some suggested hesitation. Some laughed. But Thranos' instincts pricked. Instincts honed over 1,000 victories. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, Kalen observed the sensors. He could see the probes. He could see the massive capital ships, the hundreds of fighters circling like sharks around a minnow. And then he smiled. "Prepare the quantum phalanx," he said. "Target their command nodes first." Shira froze. "Admiral, are you serious? They have over 500 capital ships. One wrong move." Kalen interrupted. "One wrong move would be if we tried to fight them on their terms. We fight on ours. Watch." The ship lurched forward, moving into an almost invisible position, between the Clyran fleet and a nearby star. Energy fields flared, sensors dimmed, and for a moment, it seemed the Sovereign Dawn had vanished. Thranos' sensors went haywire. "What trick is this?" Thranos growled. "They cannot hide. Impossible." And then the attack began. Energy beams of an unknown frequency tore through Clyran warships. Weapon systems overloaded in a cascade of destruction. Entire squadrons vanished in seconds, their crews screaming in terror across the galactic communications network. The silence that had preceded the attack had been deliberate. The humans had studied every wave of sensors, every scanning pattern, and had chosen the exact moment to strike with surgical precision. "This is a human?" Thranos whispered, disbelief laced in his voice. They cannot be human." Kalen watched the destruction calmly. "They will learn," he said softly, "that underestimating humanity is the deadliest mistake a species can make." In the aftermath, the galaxy held its breath. Alien fleets halted their movements. Word of the tiny human ship that could destroy hundreds of advanced warships spread like wildfire. The fear was tangible, almost physical. Human ingenuity had not only survived, they had dominated. Yet Kalen knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast. For every fleet destroyed, another would rise. For every world spared, another would prepare defenses. But humanity had something the aliens did not: adaptability, cunning, and a will to survive that transcended technology. As the Sovereign Dawn drifted silently among the wreckage, Kalen addressed his crew. "Today we made them doubt themselves. Tomorrow we remind them why humanity will never be underestimated." Outside the viewport, stars shimmered, distant worlds unaware that a storm had awakened among them. And for the first time in the galaxy's history, silence was not peaceful, it was terrifying. The destruction of the Clyran fleet echoed across light years. News traveled faster than any ship, transmitted by subspace relays, intercepted transmissions, and whispers among traders and mercenaries. The galaxy had seen war before. It had seen empires rise and fall. But it had never seen a single human ship wipe out hundreds of elite warships without breaking a sweat. On Irinder Prime, the capital of the Valen Confederacy, Chancellor Soreth pounded his claws against the table. His advisors were terrified, muttering about anomalies and miracles. "It cannot be human," Soreth growled. "They are weak. They are insignificant." "They are not," one counselor whispered. "They are calculating, precise, and terrifyingly effective. If their forces are anything like that single vessel, the galaxy must prepare." Meanwhile, in the secret halls of the Interstellar Alliance, leaders from dozens of species convened. The Galactic Council rarely interfered in border skirmishes, but this was different. Ambassador Leary, a tall, serpentine diplomat from Tkora, addressed the assembly. "We have underestimated them. They are no mere humans. This was a tactical masterpiece. Their understanding of enemy weaknesses, combined with technological innovations, it is unprecedented." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some species shook their heads in disbelief. Others fidgeted nervously. Only humans sat silently in their corner, observing, learning. Captain Elias Monroe, the envoy for Terran Star Command, spoke quietly. "We've always adapted to survive. Every calculation we make is for efficiency. The galaxy doesn't see what's coming." The human strategy was simple but elegant. They did not overwhelm the aliens with numbers, they outthought them. Where alien fleets relied on brute force, humans exploited patterns, predicted moves, and struck at critical points with surgical precision. And now the galaxy was beginning to notice. Back in Clyron territory, Supreme General Thranos had retreated to the shadow of a massive gas giant. His pride stung worse than any wound. Thousands of ships destroyed, billions of lives lost, and all because of one small, unassuming human vessel. His advisors urged immediate retaliation. "We must crush them before they grow stronger." Thranos shook his head. "No," he said, voice cold. "We study. We understand. Humans are unpredictable. And we cannot fight what we cannot anticipate. For now we watch." But humans were not idle. Kalen Voss convened his commanders aboard the Sovereign Dawn. The crew had become accustomed to victory, but Kalen reminded them that the battle was only beginning. "We have made them pause," Kalen said, voice echoing through the command chamber. "Now we consolidate. We gather intelligence. Every system, every fleet, every weakness in the galaxy. We will not just survive, we will dominate through strategy and adaptability. Remember, they fear our silence more than our weapons. Use it." Lieutenant Malik nodded, understanding the deeper lesson. "The galaxy will never forget this moment," she said. "Every species will rethink humanity from now on." And they were right. Across countless worlds, alien leaders debated the implications. Some wanted immediate war. Some wanted alliances to contain humanity. And others quietly studied the humans, trying to learn from them, hoping to imitate their precision, their daring, their cunning. On a distant research station orbiting the icy planet Yadara 9, alien scientists scrutinized human data captured during the attack. "Their technology is primitive in some ways," one admitted, "but combined with their unpredictability, it becomes unstoppable. Every weapon we have, they outmaneuver. Every formation they disrupt. It is not the ships, they are the humans." In the void of space, Kalen's fleet expanded. Not with massive capital ships, but with smaller, versatile vessels. Each one could fight, evade, and adapt. Fighters that could anticipate enemy maneuvers. Drones that could infiltrate and disable alien defenses. Human engineers had rewritten the rules of war. The first formal contact occurred shortly after. A delegation from the Valen Confederacy, led by Admiral Thessari, arrived near human-controlled space, weapons lowered and emissaries cautious. Kalen met them aboard the Sovereign Dawn, calm as ever. "Admiral Thranos underestimates us," Kalen said plainly as the aliens observed the human crew. "He thinks one ship, one fleet, defines humanity. He is wrong. You are here because you saw what we can do, and now you seek understanding. You will find it, carefully." Thessari's serpentine face twisted. "We do not negotiate with animals," she hissed. "Your attacks were horrifying. The galaxy demands answers." Kalen smiled faintly. "Then watch closely. Learn carefully. And perhaps one day, you will understand that fear is the language we speak best." As negotiations began, spies from both sides moved silently through the shadows. Humans observed alien habits, strategies, and weaknesses. Aliens tried to comprehend human logic but often found it maddening. The humans were not just warriors, they were learners, adapters, and innovators. Every encounter reshaped the battlefield before it even began. Meanwhile, hidden corners of the galaxy stirred. Mercenary fleets, smugglers, even rogue alien warlords began whispering about humanity's rise. Some offered allegiance. Others prepared secretly for conflict. The galaxy was changing, subtly, irrevocably, and humans were at the center, calm, silent, terrifying in their patience. And in the heart of the sovereign dawn, Kalen knew it was only the beginning. "The galaxy fears us now," he said. "But fear alone will not win wars. Strategy, intelligence, and adaptability will. Let them underestimate us, once more. Then we will show them the full measure of humanity." The stars stretched endlessly ahead. Every planet, every fleet, every empire was a puzzle waiting to be solved. And humanity had already mastered the first move. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humanity, but whispers were not enough to deter the ambitious. Across multiple sectors, alien fleets began to mobilize, testing human defenses, probing for weaknesses. The first true engagement would not be a simple skirmish, it would be a test of wills, strategy, and the adaptability that had come to define humanity. The target was the human-controlled colony of Vera Prime, a mining world rich in rare minerals critical to starship construction. A coalition of Clyran warships, reinforced by Valen and rogue mercenary fleets, approached under the veil of hyperspace. They believed overwhelming numbers could crush the human settlement before reinforcements arrived. They believed they knew humans. They were wrong. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, Admiral Kalen Voss studied the incoming fleet. Hundreds of enemy ships stretched across the viewport, their weapons bristling, their formations tight and precise. Human ships, barely 50 in number, were dwarfed in comparison. But Kalen's expression remained calm, almost serene. "Status report," he commanded. Lieutenant Malik's fingers flew across the console. "They are in the sector. Shields are nominal. Weapons charged. They are confident, almost arrogantly so." Kalen nodded. "Good. That confidence will be their downfall. Begin Phase 1, diversion." Immediately, a swarm of human fighters shot forward, weaving patterns that mimicked retreat, scattering probes to create multiple false targets. The enemy fleet, believing the humans were panicking, split their forces to intercept. The Clyran flagship ordered heavy bombardment, expecting to annihilate the humans quickly. Instead, the human ships vanished, slipping through gaps in sensors and exploiting blind spots in the alien formations. In the enemy command chamber, Supreme General Thranos watched in disbelief. "Impossible," he growled. "They cannot disappear, yet they are gone." Kalen allowed a small smile. The Sovereign Dawn and its supporting vessels had entered what humans called the Shadow Grid, a network of microjumps and cloaked maneuvers that let them strike from unexpected angles. Every move had been calculated, every maneuver pre-planned, yet adaptable to changing conditions. Humans did not fight like others, they adapted in real time. Phase 2 began. Human drones, undetectable to the alien sensors, infiltrated the enemy fleet, targeting critical systems. Propulsion units, energy conduits, and weapons arrays. Explosions erupted silently within the alien ships, crippling their ability to respond. Panic rippled across the coalition fleets as one by one, their vessels began to fail in ways no one anticipated. On Vera Prime, civilians watched from the planet's surface, unaware of the invisible battle above. Suddenly the sky lit up, not from direct assault, but from the brilliance of human-controlled orbital defenses. Energy nets, invisible until activated, ensnared enemy fighters. Shielding pulses reflected incoming fire back at the aggressors. Human ingenuity turned desperation into domination. Admiral Thessari, observing from the Valen contingent, hissed in disbelief. "They are anticipating everything. Every attack, every formation." "How?" Kalen leaned back, voice calm and authoritative. "We do not merely anticipate. We adapt. We learn. And we strike where they are weakest, the parts they never thought mattered." As the battle escalated, the humans revealed their final move, the Sovereign Dawn itself. Unlike alien capital ships, designed to dominate by size and firepower, the human flagship combined speed, agility, and precision strikes. It launched an energy barrage that overloaded the enemy fleet's central control nodes. Entire formations went haywire, colliding, firing upon each other, turning the coalition's own strength into chaos. In the aftermath, Debris and flames floated across the void. Over 200 alien warships lay crippled or destroyed. The humans had lost barely 10 vessels. Even more astonishingly, Vera Prime remained intact, its population unharmed. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity demonstrated not brute strength, but the superior art of war: intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. On the battlefield, Thrano's voice trembled. How can one species do this? It is unnatural. Kalen's voice came over the comms, calm and unyielding. It is simple, General. We survive. We adapt. We evolve. And we never underestimate the cost of patience and precision. Humanity will not fight like you. We will win because we understand the game you refuse to see. The political ramifications were immediate. Across the galaxy, governments convened emergency councils. Fleets were recalled, alliances reconsidered, and intelligence divisions scrambled to understand humanity's sudden dominance. Traders and civilians whispered tales of human brilliance, courage, and terrifying unpredictability. Back aboard the Sovereign Dawn, Kalen addressed his crew. Today we did more than defend a world. We showed the galaxy that humans are not weak, not predictable, and not easily defeated. Remember this day. It is the day the galaxy learned to fear and respect humanity. Lieutenant Malik nodded, eyes scanning the aftermath. Do you think they will stop here? Kalen shook his head. No. They will adapt, attempt to learn. But we will always be one step ahead. And every battle, every maneuver, will remind them why humanity cannot be underestimated. As the Sovereign Dawn drifted silently among the remnants of the enemy fleet, the stars seemed brighter, the void deeper. The first battle was won, but the war for galactic dominance had only begun. And humanity, ever resilient, ever cunning, was ready. The victory at Vera Prime was not merely a tactical success, it was a signal. The galaxy had been shaken. Entire coalitions convened emergency councils. Trade routes froze as fleets were recalled. Governors whispered in fear, and spies moved through the shadows, desperate to uncover humanity's secrets. Admiral Kalen Voss observed it all from the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn. He knew the humans' triumph would provoke more than awe, it would provoke envy, fear, and aggression. And those three forces were far more dangerous than any fleet he had faced in battle. Reports from Valen and Clyron sectors, Lieutenant Malik said, her fingers flying over the console. They're forming a coalition. Multiple species uniting under a single command. They're calling it the Galactic Containment Alliance. Their goal is containment, and maybe annihilation. Kalen leaned back, eyes narrowing. Good. Let them unite. Let them believe they can overwhelm us. Every alliance is a network of predictable patterns, and every pattern has a weakness. We will find it. Meanwhile, in the council chambers of the Valen Confederacy, Admiral Thessari argued heatedly with other delegates. Humanity cannot be reasoned with, she snapped. They do not follow conventional warfare, diplomacy, or alliances. To ignore them is suicide. To attack them without preparation is madness. Some leaders disagreed, advocating negotiation. Others, driven by fear, called for immediate strikes. But beneath the public debates, secret plans were forming. Spies infiltrated human-controlled space, disguised as traders, diplomats, or even refugees. Every corner of the galaxy became a chessboard, and humans were moving their pieces with precision. On Vera Prime, the colonists went about rebuilding, unaware that their survival had made them a target of envy and fear. They watched human fleets patrol nearby, swift, silent, and adaptable. Humanity had not only defended a world, they had sent a message: we are here and we are not to be underestimated. Kalen convened his senior commanders. They will try to learn from us. They will infiltrate, probe, and manipulate. But humans have one advantage they cannot copy: instinct and adaptability. Every ship, every crew, every system is trained to respond in real time. We are unpredictable by design. That is our strength. Lieutenant Malik hesitated. Admiral, they may attempt sabotage. They may even try to turn our allies against us. How do we prepare for everything? Kalen's gaze was sharp, unwavering. By expecting it. By staying 3 steps ahead. The galaxy believes strategy is about brute strength or overwhelming numbers. But real strategy, real dominance, comes from anticipating the unexpected and striking with precision. That is humanity. Back in the shadows, alien agents attempted infiltration. They moved through trade stations, mining colonies, and research outposts, collecting data, planting misinformation, and observing human behavior. Yet every attempt was met with countermeasures. Drones that could detect micropatterns in behavior, AI-driven monitoring of communications, and human intuition that often saw threats before they manifested. The first major counter-strategy came in the form of sabotage attempts on orbital refineries. Alien operatives infiltrated disguised as technicians, hoping to cripple resources and slow human expansion. But humans had anticipated such moves. Within hours, the intruders were captured, their data seized, revealing the coalition's broader plans. "This is exactly what I expected," Kalen said, reviewing the reports. "They act in fear, using desperation as a weapon. We act in patience, using knowledge as our shield." As news of human adaptability spread, even neutral species began to take sides. Some offered allegiance, recognizing that siding with humans could bring protection and prosperity. Others withdrew, unwilling to provoke a species that could dismantle fleets without losing a single vessel. The political landscape was shifting. Humanity's victories were not just military, they were psychological. The galaxy was learning that humans were not merely another species to be conquered. They were innovators, tacticians, and apex strategists, capable of turning every challenge into an advantage. Amid this tension, Kalen received word of an approaching delegation, this time an entire council from the Galactic Containment Alliance, arriving in neutral space to negotiate, or perhaps to test humanity's defenses. "They will not come with open hands," Kalen said. "Expect subterfuge, manipulation, and pressure. And expect nothing but our full response. We are not intimidated. We are not coerced. We are humanity." As the alien delegation approached, the Sovereign Dawn moved silently through the void, flanked by human cruisers. Ships shimmered in cloaked formation, sensors scanning, weapons ready but unengaged. The humans had learned that power was often psychological, making the galaxy fear what it could not predict. When the aliens finally arrived, the humans greeted them with calm, composed authority. Negotiations began, but Kalen and his commanders could see every deception, every attempt at intimidation, and every hidden threat. They responded not with rage or panic, but with precision, logic, and unyielding clarity. And in that quiet, tense space between stars, the galaxy learned another truth. Humanity's supremacy was not just in ships, weapons, or numbers. It was in strategy, intelligence, and the relentless ability to adapt. For every plan the aliens formed, humans had a counter. For every threat, humans had a solution. And for every fear, humans had patience. The war for galactic dominance had shifted from brute force to mind and will. Kalen stood on the bridge, watching stars streak past. "They believe they can contain us. They believe they understand us. Let them believe it. Their mistakes will be their undoing." And somewhere, in the far reaches of space, alien spies whispered of humans in hushed tones. Not heroes, not monsters, something far more dangerous. Beings whose minds were sharper than any weapon, whose adaptability surpassed every expectation, and whose silence before action was more terrifying than the roar of 1,000 fleets. The galaxy was learning fear. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity, but fear alone could not stop them. The Containment Alliance had amassed hundreds of fleets across multiple sectors, each waiting for the humans to make a misstep. They believed overwhelming numbers could crush the Terran Star Command. They believed strategy alone could match human ingenuity. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Admiral Kalen Voss stood on the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, overlooking the vast expanse of space where the Alliance fleets had gathered. The stars shimmered coldly beyond the viewport, reflecting the magnitude of the challenge ahead. Hundreds of alien capital ships, thousands of fighters, all poised to strike at once. Yet the humans remained calm. "Status," Kalen said, his voice steady, commanding attention. Lieutenant Malik responded immediately. "All fleets in formation, Admiral. Orbital defenses are online. Drones deployed and synchronized. We are ready for simultaneous engagement." Kalen nodded. "Good. Phase 1 begins now. Execute Operation Apex." Across the Alliance fleets, sensors picked up small human formations moving unpredictably. Some ships appeared, then vanished. Fighters darted between asteroids, weaving patterns designed to confuse and fragment enemy responses. Alien admirals barked orders, but human maneuvers rendered conventional formations useless. It was the first lesson in human unpredictability. The initial strike was subtle. Human drones infiltrated communication networks, feeding false data into alien command arrays. Ships were ordered into positions where they could neither defend themselves nor support one another. Explosions erupted silently, crippling engines, shields, and weapons. Panic spread quickly as commanders realized their fleets were falling into traps they could not anticipate. Impossible, growled Supreme General Thranos. They are not just fighting, they are rewriting the rules of engagement as we watch. Kalen's voice cut across the communications network, calm and unyielding. We adapt. We overcome. You rely on repetition and prediction. Humanity relies on intelligence, strategy, and resolve. Every fleet you command has a weakness. Every plan has a flaw. And we will find it. Then came the apex maneuver. Human capital ships, including the Sovereign Dawn, executed simultaneous hyperjumps to positions behind enemy lines, targeting command hubs, fuel depots, and weapon arrays. It was a surgical strike of unprecedented scale. Entire alien formations collapsed inward, firing upon one another as chaos consumed their fleets. Across the galaxy, neutral species observed in awe. The humans were not just powerful, they were unstoppable in coordination and precision. A small fleet of 50 human ships had brought hundreds of advanced alien warships to ruin without losing more than a handful of their own. Unbelievable, whispered Ambassador Leary from the Interstellar Alliance. They are apex predators but with minds instead of teeth. Every decision is a masterstroke. Kalen watched the battle unfold like a chessboard. They think they can overwhelm us with numbers, he said to Malik. But they fail to understand the power of adaptability. The galaxy fights with rules. Humanity fights without them. In the midst of the offensive, an unexpected twist emerged. Thranos, desperate and cunning, attempted to retreat, hoping to regroup his forces in a more defensible sector. But the humans anticipated it. Intercepting fleets emerged from hidden vectors, cutting off escape routes. Every maneuver Thranos attempted was countered, every strategy preempted. The humans had predicted him before he even conceived the plan. The final moments of the battle were cinematic in scale. Massive explosions illuminated the void as alien warships collided or imploded. Fighters were decimated before they could organize. Communications across Alliance fleets descended into chaos. And then, as quickly as it began, the offensive ended. Human losses were minimal. 5 ships destroyed, 10 lightly damaged. The Alliance had suffered catastrophic damage. Over 200 ships obliterated, countless more crippled, and the morale of their forces shattered. The galaxy had witnessed a spectacle of human supremacy, a demonstration that intelligence, strategy, and adaptability could overcome raw power in numbers. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, Kalen turned to his crew. Remember this day, he said. Not for victory, not for destruction, but for the proof it provides. Humanity's place in this galaxy is not as another species to be underestimated. We survive. We adapt. We dominate. And we do so without arrogance, without waste, and without fear. Lieutenant Malik exhaled slowly, her eyes wide as she scanned the aftermath. The galaxy will never be the same. No, Kalen agreed. And that is exactly what we intend. Let them rebuild, let them regroup. Each step they take will be calculated. Each plan they form will be anticipated. Humanity does not merely fight battles. We shape the future, one precise action at a time. Across multiple worlds, news of the Apex offensive spread like wildfire. Traitors, mercenaries, and even neutral governments whispered the same words. Humans are not only powerful, they are intelligent beyond comprehension, adaptive beyond measure, and ruthless in the precision of their actions. And yet, for all the spectacle, Kalen knew this was only a fraction of what humanity was capable of. The galaxy was vast, full of threats, alliances, and unseen dangers. But humans had proven one undeniable truth. No matter the odds, no matter the enemies, no matter the scale, humanity could survive and prevail. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a canvas for conquest, diplomacy, and strategy. Humanity's first massive offensive had shattered assumptions, shocked the galaxy, and shown that Apex capability was not defined by size or firepower, but by intelligence, adaptability, and the courage to act when the moment demanded it. As the Sovereign Dawn drifted through the debris of the defeated fleets, Kalen's gaze remained steady. They feared us before, he said. Now they will respect us, and perhaps, finally, understand the power of human ingenuity. The galaxy had been changed forever. The galaxy was no longer calm. Entire civilizations trembled at the mention of humanity. The Apex offensive had shattered the Containment Alliance's morale, yet it had also awakened a dangerous resolve among the alien factions. They would not allow a single species to dominate the galaxy. Supreme General Thranos retreated to a secret stronghold, a gas giant with swirling storms and dense orbital debris. Here, he convened with desperate commanders from the remnants of the Alliance fleets. They humiliate us, he hissed, eyes blazing. They fight with minds sharper than any weapon. We lose every engagement because we cannot anticipate them. We must think differently, or perish. One counselor, trembling, suggested subterfuge. Perhaps we can infiltrate human systems, turn their allies against them, spread misinformation. Thranos shook his head. They anticipate everything. Every move we make has already been accounted for. We need a strategy they cannot predict, something chaotic, something violent, something unpredictable even for them. Meanwhile, humanity expanded its influence. Kalen Voss oversaw the integration of new colonies, establishing supply chains, orbital defenses, and networks of surveillance that spanned entire sectors. Every ship, every drone, every soldier was trained not only to fight but to anticipate, adapt, and outthink. Yet Kalen knew that adaptability had limits. The galaxy was vast. Secrets and threats lurked where sensors could not reach, and the Containment Alliance would grow desperate. Desperation bred irrationality, and irrationality bred danger. Intelligence reports came in. Alien agents had infiltrated remote stations, attempting sabotage, bribery, and propaganda. Human counterintelligence had captured several operatives. The information revealed not only enemy plans but the fragility of their cohesion. Fear and jealousy were already splintering their ranks. Kalen summoned his commanders. They are desperate, he said. And desperation is the greatest weakness a species can have. We will not strike blindly. We will exploit their mistrust, their fear, and their arrogance. Let them collapse under their own weight while we prepare for the decisive confrontation. Lieutenant Malik frowned. They might unite under a single, final strategy. A do-or-die offensive against us. Then we must ensure that when they do, it is on our terms, Kalen replied. Every battlefield, every maneuver, every contingency has been accounted for. We are humanity. And humanity does not lose. In orbit around the neutral world of Juron 6, alien delegates plotted betrayal and alliance shifting. Thranos had promised them freedom from human dominance, but whispers of treachery spread quickly. Some fleets refused to engage without guarantees. Others considered surrendering, hoping to bargain for survival. The cracks in the coalition were widening faster than any human weapons could. Human fleets moved silently through the void, scouting, monitoring, and subtly influencing these fractures. Kalen had always understood the value of patience. Physical might was transient. Psychological dominance, control over perception, and careful timing were permanent. Then came the first open signs of desperation. Clyran forces attempted a preemptive strike on human supply stations along the Ardent Rift, hoping to cripple resource lines before the humans could mobilize further. But the humans had anticipated it. Ambushes lay in wait, hidden within asteroid fields and cloaked vectors. Entire strike teams were neutralized before they could inflict damage, their retreat cut off by precision fire. Kalen observed the battle quietly, a small smile forming. Every aggression is a lesson, he said. They reveal themselves before we even engage. That is the advantage of patience and preparation. Yet even as humanity's dominance grew, Kalen remained vigilant. Reports came of alien scientists attempting to reverse engineer human technology, spies attempting to manipulate minor systems, and rogue fleets testing borders. None succeeded. Every move had been predicted, adapted to, or countered. Humans had become a force not just feared for power but revered, and dreaded, for intellect. The most dangerous threat, however, was still to come. Intelligence suggested that Thranos was amassing a do-or-die fleet, combining the surviving Clyran forces with rogue warlords and mercenary fleets. The aim was a decisive strike against human core territories, a gamble that could either destroy humanity or unite the galaxy against them forever. Kalen gathered his council. This is it, he said, voice low but commanding. They will attack with everything they have. But they still underestimate us. They believe in brute force, in overwhelming numbers, and intimidation. They have forgotten that humanity thrives where others fail. They have forgotten that we adapt faster, think faster, and strike harder. Lieutenant Malik's eyes were wide with both awe and apprehension. And if they succeed? She asked. Kalen shook his head. They will not. Humanity survives because we do not simply react. We predict, we learn, we dominate. The galaxy is our chessboard, and every piece they move falls into the strategy we have long prepared. Let them come. Let them bring everything. We will be ready. As human fleets assembled across multiple sectors, orbiting strategic worlds and cloaking critical assets, the stage was set. Every patrol, Every supply line, every orbital defense had been calculated to maximize effectiveness and minimize risk. Humanity had transformed every advantage, technology, strategy, psychology, into a weapon that the galaxy had never seen before. In the void of space, the stars seemed to hold their breath. Every fleet, human and alien, prepared for the confrontation that could determine the fate of the galaxy. The calm before the storm was almost sacred, a silence that only humans could break with precision and devastating effect. Kalen gazed at the constellations ahead. "This is the edge of war," he said softly. "And beyond this edge, humanity will show the galaxy exactly why we are the apex species. Let them underestimate us one final time." The galaxy waited. The galaxy held its breath. Every civilization, every fleet, every world watched as the Containment Alliance's do-or-die fleet approached human core territories. Hundreds of alien capital ships, thousands of fighters, armed to annihilate the Terran Star Command. They believed this would be the final act, humanity crushed, their influence erased, and the galaxy restored to order. But they had miscalculated again. Admiral Kalen Voss stood on the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, calm as ever, watching the massive fleet assemble. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, dotted with vessels ready for war, yet unaware that the humans had already anticipated every move. His crew moved with quiet precision, adjusting weapons, coordinating drones, and preparing ships in ways that no alien fleet could predict. "Status report," Kalen commanded. Lieutenant Malik's fingers flew across the console. "All fleets in position, Admiral. Hyperjump vectors are ready. Drones deployed. Sensors online. They're falling right into the pattern we predicted." Kalen's eyes narrowed. "Good. Initiate Phase 1, Disruption." Human ships scattered in formations designed to confuse and fragment enemy sensors. Fighters appeared and disappeared across multiple vectors. Hyperjump ambushes struck at command ships, crippling communications before the Alliance could coordinate. Alien commanders barked orders, but every maneuver led to dead ends. Humans had orchestrated chaos with the precision of a symphony conductor. Supreme General Thranos' flagship shook under the first assault. He roared into the comms, "Focus fire on the humans. Destroy them before they regroup." But the humans had anticipated even that. The Sovereign Dawn and its supporting fleet had prepared decoy nodes, drawing concentrated fire while real ships executed hidden maneuvers. Entire squadrons of Alliance ships collided or misfired, their numbers turning into a liability. The psychological shock was immediate. Alien crews panicked as the battlefield dissolved into chaos. Kalen observed silently. "They rely on predictability, on fear of loss. We rely on adaptability. Every panic move is an advantage. Every miscalculation is their undoing." Then came Phase 2, the apex strike. Human capital ships, including the Sovereign Dawn, hyperjumped deep into the Alliance's core formations, targeting energy matrices, shield generators and propulsion hubs. Drones infiltrated vessels silently, sabotaging weapons before crews even knew they were under attack. Alien warships erupted in a storm of fire and debris. Across the galaxy, neutral species watched in awe. Humans were not just fighting, they were rewriting the rules of warfare in real time. Numbers, firepower, and technology mattered far less than adaptability, intelligence, and precision. In the heart of the battle, Thranos realized the humans had anticipated everything, even his most desperate tactics. Fury and desperation consumed him. "Impossible," he hissed. "They see everything. They know, before I even plan." Kalen's voice echoed over the comms, calm, almost gentle. "We survive because we think, we adapt, and we endure. You fight with panic. You lead with fear. Humanity leads with understanding, and that is why you lose." The Alliance fleets collapsed. Command ships exploded, fighters swarmed uncontrollably, and the remaining ships attempted retreat only to find every exit blocked by hidden human forces. It was a complete, surgical annihilation, not out of rage but out of perfect execution. By the time the battle ended, alien losses were staggering. Over 400 ships destroyed, countless more crippled, and the morale of their forces shattered permanently. Human losses were minimal, less than a dozen ships lightly damaged. The galaxy had witnessed an unparalleled demonstration of human supremacy. In the aftermath, Kalen addressed his crew. "Today we did more than win a battle. We reshaped the galaxy's perception of humanity. Every species that doubted us has now seen what we are capable of. Remember this moment. Remember that adaptability, intelligence, and resolve define us more than any weapon. Humanity is ascendant." Lieutenant Malik exhaled, awe and relief mixing in her voice. The galaxy will never underestimate us again. No, Kalen said quietly. And they will not forget it. Not in centuries, not in millennia. Humanity has shown what it means to survive, to dominate, and to ascend. Across multiple worlds, governments scrambled to reassess their alliances, trade, and defenses. Stories of human brilliance, cunning, and tactical genius spread faster than any fleet could travel. Aliens whispered, some with fear, some with grudging respect, that humans had achieved something no species had before. Dominance not by force alone but by intellect, strategy, and adaptability. Even Supreme General Thranos survived, retreating in shame to an isolated sector. But the lesson was etched into every mind: underestimating humanity was fatal. Every empire, every fleet, every faction now understood the terrifying reality: humans were apex strategists, apex warriors, and apex survivors. Kalen stood alone on the observation deck of the Sovereign Dawn, gazing at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, vast and untamed, yet now a stage on which humanity would shape its destiny. He whispered, almost to himself, "The galaxy feared us before. Now they will respect us. And someday perhaps they will understand the true measure of humanity." The stars were silent witnesses. Planets and fleets buzzed with activity, some in awe, others in trepidation. And through it all, one truth remained clear: humanity had claimed its place among the stars, not through sheer force but through intellect, adaptability, and the unbreakable will to endure. The galaxy would never be the same again. And humanity had only just begun.